Title: The Great Office Escape. It was a typical Thursday morning in the small, gray, windowless office of, well, let's just call it corporate enterprises. You know the type. Beige walls, fluorescent lights flickering overhead, the constant hum of a printer, and the faint smell of reheated microwave lunches in the air. It's a place where dreams go to die. Or in the case of Tim, the office intern, to hatch plans of great escape. Tim was sitting at his desk, staring at his computer screen. His cursor hovered over an email titled, "Urgent, read immediately." His colleague, Janet, a middle-aged woman who had apparently been at the office since the dawn of time, was hunched over her desk, squinting at a spreadsheet. "Hey, Tim," she said without looking up, her voice as dry as the office coffee. "Did you hear they're adding more mandatory overtime next month?" "More overtime?" Tim's eyes widened, his hand instinctively clutching the mouse like it was a lifeline. "But we're already working 12 hours a day." "I know," Janet said, as if she'd just revealed the shocking news about the world's longest line at the DMV. "You know how it is. Work, 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 then more work." Tim's mind began to wander. He stared at his screen, his cursor moving in slow circles, like a hypnotist's pendulum, lulling him into a state of deep contemplation. Whisper, "That's it," he muttered to himself. "I'm done." Suddenly, Tim leapt out of his chair. "Janet, I've had enough. I can't take it anymore." Janet blinked. Are you quitting?" "Because I swear, Tim, if you quit, we'll just get another intern who's just as clueless as you." No, Janet," Tim said. I'm planning an escape." Janet stared at him, now fully intrigued, her eyes narrowing. "Escape? What do you mean? Like a vacation?" Not a vacation," Tim said with a smirk. "An escape from this soul-sucking place. I'm going to break out. Janet, I'm going to execute the most daring office escape plan ever known to man. Watch and learn." Tim began pacing around the office, his hands gesturing wildly as if he were orchestrating a heist. "Here's the plan. First, I'll need to disable the surveillance cameras." "Surveillance cameras?" Janet raised an eyebrow. "I think those are just fake. They've been on non-recording mode for years." "Doesn't matter," Tim said, as though it were a mere detail. "I'll move to step 2. Get past Karen from HR." Tim continued. "Karen's been working in HR for 17 years. She can smell fear. She can smell a person's soul leaving their body when they fill out a sick day form. I'm going to need a distraction." Janet squinted in disbelief. "Wait, you're telling me you have a plan to escape, and you need a distraction?" "Yes," Tim said confidently. "And that distraction will come in the form of a dance party." Tim got up from his desk and started to mime out some dance moves, not caring that everyone in the office was now staring at him. "This will be our diversion. Karen will be so confused by the sudden eruption of rhythmic joy. She'll forget to monitor the exit routes." Janet shook her head. "You know, Tim, this is all fun and games. But at the end of the day, we still have to clock out before 5 p.m. Tim narrowed his eyes. Janet, that's where you're wrong. I won't be clocking out." He paused for dramatic effect. "I'll be clocking in. To freedom," Tim continued. "Now, phase 1, the dance party." He started clapping and shouting. "Everybody, it's time to get funky." At first, it was just Tim, but then, as if some invisible force took over, the office workers started to join in. Carl from accounting, who had never moved his legs outside of a chair in all his 15 years at the company, started doing the Macarena. Nancy from customer service did the electric slide. Even Frank from IT, who had the personality of a damp towel, began spinning in circles like a top. Janet raised her eyebrows. "I didn't know you had this kind of energy in you." Tim, All part of the plan, Tim said smugly. Suddenly, Karen from HR appeared in the doorway, her eyes wide with confusion. What is going on here? Tim grinned. Karen, come join the fun. We're having a surprise office-wide dance party. You should totally join in. Karen blinked and then, in an unexpected twist, shrugged and walked straight into the middle of the group, swaying awkwardly. This was Tim's moment. While Karen was distracted, he slid behind her, dodging colleagues who were now attempting synchronized cha-cha slides. He reached the back door to the office, his heart pounding. This is it, Tim whispered to himself, eyes narrowing as he approached the exit. But just as he reached the handle, a sudden voice stopped him. Where do you think you're going? Tim? It was Janet. Tim froze. What do you mean? You think you can just leave without me? Janet asked, with a mischievous grin. Tim's eyes widened. Wait, you're in on this? Of course, Janet said with a wink. I was tired of the same old office routine, but I needed an accomplice. Well, I guess I'll just have to take you with me, Tim said, holding out his hand. Ready to break free? Janet looked at him, eyes twinkling. Lead the way, Tim. Lead the way. As they stepped into the unknown, the office was left behind. No more spreadsheets. No more endless meetings. Only freedom. And with that, Tim and Janet ran off into the distance, laughing like they had just won the office lottery. Narrator. Final line. With a wink. And that's how Tim, the intern, escaped the clutches of corporate enterprises. With the help of a dance party. Of course.